Imagine a small boy in a Swiss village, desperately trying to please his cold, unreachable mother. His smiles mask a secret pain, the emotional prison built by unspoken family rules. This boy's struggle hides a deeper truth, one that echoes through generations. What if uncovering that truth is the key to finally breaking free? Alice Miller's The Truth Will Set You Free unravels these hidden chains, showing us why facing our past is the first step to freedom. The pain children carry is invisible but heavy. Miller reveals how childhood wounds hide beneath smiles, shaping lives without us noticing. In Geneva, Hans, a bright boy, becomes the perfect son, top grades, no complaints. But behind closed doors, he's terrified of displeasing his father, whose approval comes only through strict discipline. Miller shares Hans's story to show how this silent hurt seeps deep, warping self-worth and trust. Years later, Hans can't even name his pain until therapy shines a light on those long-suppressed fears. Imagine childhood pain like a hidden leak inside a dam. Silent, unseen, it quietly erodes the foundation. Miller explains how early emotional injuries create cavities in the brain's wiring, especially where empathy and self-awareness form. This erosion leads to denial, blindsiding the child to their own suffering, and locking in harmful survival strategies that feel like protection but actually trap them. When Hans finally breaks his silence, he doesn't just talk. Something inside shifts. Miller highlights how confronting childhood truths awakens emotional eyesight, allowing the grown child to unlearn obedience to unseen tyranny. The real freedom arrives not by forgetting pain, but by seeing it clearly, a surprising insight that truth, not comfort, heals the deepest wounds. Why do children obey when it hurts them? Miller digs into this puzzle, exposing the dark side of good behavior that traps them in cycles of suffering. Heinz, a boy from Munich, loves his mother fiercely, but learns early that her love is conditional, tied to his perfect obedience and silence about family chaos. Miller recounts how Heinz masks his anger and sadness through compliance, becoming emotionally invisible. It's a survival act that costs him his true self, highlighting the dangerous price of being the good boy. Miller compares parents' unconscious control to a puppeteer's strings. Children become marionettes dancing to unspoken demands. This good child role maintains family harmony but sacrifices authenticity. The mind's denial mechanism blurs real feelings, much like fog hiding a dangerous cliff edge, leaving children unaware how deeply trapped they are. The miracle comes when Heinz, decades later, recognizes these inherited patterns and refuses to continue them. Miller reveals that breaking obedience's chains doesn't just heal the individual. It stops trauma's cycle from passing to the next generation. The unexpected payoff? True freedom demands rebellion against toxic love. Miller shows how early punishment rewires the brain, making denial a cruel but necessary shield, until it blinds us to growth and love. Miller cites neuroscience research showing how spanking and humiliation flood a child's brain with stress hormones, literally damaging areas responsible for emotional awareness. She tells of a girl from Zurich who endured harsh discipline. Her brain developed blind spots to feelings, a kind of emotional numbness that later made genuine connection almost impossible. Denial isn't just forgetting. It's a fortress the mind builds to survive unbearable pain. Miller likens it to a castle with high walls trapping the child inside, safe from harm, but isolated from others and even their own feelings. This defense mechanism, powerful as it is, ultimately prevents learning healthier ways to love and trust. The breakthrough happens when the grown child faces all the ugly truths they once denied. Miller shares stories of adults who felt reborn after this painful confrontation, discovering empathy and self-compassion. The stunning insight? Emotional pain is the doorway to freedom, not the enemy to be avoided. Remember Hans, the boy trapped in silent pain? His story began locked behind invisible walls built by obedience and denial. But as Alice Miller shows, paying the price of facing our darkest truths frees us from repeating those patterns. So here's a try this moment. Look back at one childhood memory you've hidden or ignored, breathe into it with compassion, no judgment. Truth isn't easy, but it's the key to your freedom. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.